Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Melanie and this is my weekly update and talk about plans for week 4. And yeah, this was a crazy week. That's all I can say. Work was a little bit stressful and it impacted me in some ways. And mostly it was, the cravings for, the sugar and the junk food and all that kind of stuff. But I did pretty good. I didn't succumb. I think I did drink soda a couple times, but that's it. But I did make sure I had my water before I drank my soda, so I'm going to consider that a win. I also had some issues with my knee. I tweaked it on Wednesday, so that kind of impacted Wednesdays and Thursdays movement goal. I tried to do alternate things instead, like stretching and that kind of thing, so at least I still did something, so that's good. And then, of course, today's Friday, and it was feeling much better. So I, of course, went into full steam cleaning, and I've been tackling my bathroom. So I'm going to do a separate video on that, showing you basically how I reorganized and went through everything there. That should be coming soon, hopefully, which is why I'm looking like a mess. It's hot, sweating, but, it is life, and I just wanted to keep up with the updates. Being real, authentic, this is the way it is, so that you guys know what's going on. So I did do my meal prep, albeit a little bit late in the week, but I did make the meatloaf that I had indicated. I was following a recipe from Paleo Running Mama. It's her Whole30 Paleo meatloaf. So first of all, I can't believe I made ketchup. I mean, you all know by now I don't like to cook, and so the thought of actually making ketchup from scratch is kind of mind-blowing. Now I'm gonna say this, it isn't exactly Heinz ketchup. It definitely has more of a tomato paste taste to it, and I think I would add some more vinegar to the recipe and maybe some water to thin it out a little bit, but all in all it was pretty good. Listen to me, I actually sound like I know what I'm talking about, right? So I used my food processor to combine 1/3 cup of medjool dates that had been soaked to soften. I didn't drain them before using them in the recipe. I used the liquid as well to make the ketchup. So I believe the recipe called for you to drain them, and I still found the ketchup quite thick. So just keep that in mind. 1 6-ounce can of tomato paste and 3 tablespoons of water, which I combined with 2 tablespoons of vinegar. I didn't have any apple cider vinegar, so I just used normal white vinegar instead. You just got to use what you got. Spices that were added were a 1/2 teaspoon each of paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, and salt. And then I combined until the ketchup was smooth. As for the meatloaf itself, I didn't brown the onions and garlic and ghee beforehand. To be honest, I just missed reading it. And I had already thrown everything into a mixing bowl, so it was kind of hard to back out of that. But to be honest, it all worked out okay, and I probably wouldn't do it in the future because, of course, that's just one more step and one more pan that gets dirty. So 2 pounds of ground beef, 2 eggs, 1/3 cup of almond flour, and 3 tablespoons of the prepared ketchup. Now, I'm not sure that the almond flour was necessary. I know you usually put some sort of flour or oats or something in your meatloaf, but I don't know. I just don't know that it necessarily did a whole lot, but I had some on hand, so I did throw it in. As for seasonings go, 1 teaspoon each of salt and Italian seasoning, and I just kind of eyeballed the black pepper. I didn't have any mustard, so I just left that out. I mixed all the ingredients together, spread it into 2 loaf pans. I don't mind a flatter loaf, as it means usually less cooking time. I believe the recipe just called for 1 pan. I placed this in a preheated oven. The oven had been preheated to 375 Fahrenheit. I cooked it for 20 minutes and then added the remainder of the ketchup on top of the 2 loaves. I believe the recipe specifies how much, but at this point I was like, I just didn't want any leftover ketchup, and I don't mind having the extra sauce on top. I then baked it an additional 20 minutes, and because I was making 2 loaves, I thought I better check the temperature, and at that point it was well past the 160 Fahrenheit internal temp recommended in the recipe, so I probably could have pulled this out a little bit sooner than the additional 20. But the meatloaf was still moist, so I don't think it was that overcooked. So all in all, it only took me about 40 minutes to cook the 2 loaves versus the recipe would be closer to 60-65 minutes. I didn't have any parsley, so no garnish. You just have to work with what you have, right? Now the meatloaf did break apart some, so maybe an additional egg might help next time. I served with baked potato and some green beans, and it made a great meal. I still have some left. I'll probably have enough for tonight and Saturday, and then of course Sunday we'll start the new week. So this was easy enough to make. It tasted pretty good, so I think I would make it again. I'd probably simplify it a little more and just not even bother to make the ketchup and just use straight tomato paste. Well, it was good. I think I'd be okay with just the paste instead, and I like the fact that it would be less effort. So that is it for my meal prep for this week. If you want to give it a try, I will leave the link to the recipe in the description below. Okay, so plans for next week. I have not really done any extensive thought about next week's meal plan, and I think what I'm going to do is just keep it super simple and cook some sort of protein that I have in my freezer. So I know I have some steaks and I know I have some pork chops. So I'm probably just going to cook those up, maybe even barbecue, and just have some frozen vegetables and baked potatoes. That's quick, simple, easy. I have all of that in my house, so I don't actually need to go grocery shopping for that. For lunches, I think I'm just going to make a omelet, and that should take care of that. And then I have some green smoothies, which are basically just ground up vegetables. It's not like a smoothie you'd get at like Starbucks or something like that. It's literally just ground up vegetables. And again, I'm tweaking the rules a little bit for Whole30 because I know you're not supposed to have smoothies. But I have some in my freezer and I need to use them up because I have a butcher box coming and there's lots of meat in there and I need all the room in my freezer that I can handle. I also did really good on the relationship front this week. I had 2 phone calls with friends. So I had talked to you about the one, ended up talking to her for about 4 hours. And then I talked to another friend the other day for about an hour and a half. So that was really great to connect with them. And my friend Joanne, if she's watching this, because she did find my channel, Joanne's been really good in helping me talk through my mindset as to how I need to approach things. So I really appreciated that call. As far as movement for next week goes, I'm going to stick with the walking again, just trying to keep that up. I haven't been consistent enough yet on it that I feel comfortable to up it. So again, 20 minutes each day is my goal with the exception of Sunday. Okay, so that is my plans for next week. What are you up to? What are you going to tackle? Are you struggling with anything? Do you need encouragement with anything? Let me know below. And now it's time for me to get back to that bathroom and finish it up. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.